Family Circus started on the street, a church without walls, a church made up mainly of children. Many of the children followed us into local churches, the kind with 4 walls. Instead of welcoming the children, the churches turned them away. They said they were dirty, poor, and undisciplined. Jesus said, "Let the kids come to me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven." Yeah! As a result, we felt compelled to create a church for kids, a church where children were the priority and not just a problem. When the children were no longer welcome in the local churches, we went looking for a place for the children to have Sunday school. And the local McDonald's were quick to respond, "Sure, bring them on." And we took them upstairs in the McDonald's restaurant and had hotcakes and orange juice, all for about 60 cents. And every Sunday we had Sunday school for those kids. It was so much fun. With those 60 kids, teaching them Sunday school temporarily, we went to one of the larger churches here in town, and we asked the pastor, said, "Pastor, could we bring these kids to your church? They need a church home." And he said, "Sure, bring them on." And they said, "How many?" And I said, "About 60. "Oh no, we couldn't handle an additional 60 kids. A couple, 3 weeks later, into our next month, the attendance at McDonald's increased up to 80. And I went to another church, of course it was a smaller church, and I said, "Pastor, could we bring these kids to your church? They need a church home." The pastor said, "Sure, bring them on." "How many?" And I said, "About 80. "Oh no, I'm sorry, we can't handle 80 more kids." We continued on at McDonald's. As you can just anticipate, our attendance kept going up. When we went from 80 up to 100 a month later, I asked another pastor, and evidently the word had gotten around, and that pastor didn't even hesitate. He said, "We don't do kids ministry. There's no money in it." By the next month, we were up to 120. Handwriting was on the wall. We had to find a place for these children to have a church. And that's when we started the old building. And this building at that time had no electricity, no water, no bathrooms. We started with just an ugly old building. The first Sunday we had a total attendance of 161 in church at that time.
This is our first Sunday morning. It's ready to be praised. Come on, help me out.
3 years later, we had 6 services with 3,059 in attendance. During the service, they'll hear fun teaching about Jesus. We have a dentist that is extracting teeth and giving hygiene care advice what to do for their teeth. After each service, the children, as they prepare to go out of the church, will come by my wife, Sandy. She's putting on antibiotics and she's doing first aid and just loving these children. As they go out, they come over and there's a lineup and we're praying for them.
What God is doing is simply incredible. We go out and invite children, and it is from squatter villages. We go to those places that are so highly densely populated with children. When they come in the morning, we feed them bread and juice as they come in the door.
These hands represent people who have dedicated their lives to Jesus Christ. And this building is not built for that many kids. They were waiting in lines an hour and a half before service just to get inside the doors. Kids wanting to come to find out about Jesus. Davao City has 750,000 children. Our goal is to reach 1% of those children. Can you imagine bringing in 7,500 children to attend church every single week? That's why we're buying new property, so that we have room for these kids and have a place for them for the future. This is the location of the future Family Circus facility. We have a large tent coming in. It's going to be right there. We'll be able to seat about 5,000 kids and their family members. Right now, we have 3,500 attending. One trip with those 100 tricycles from our neighborhood can bring in 500 kids. 5 trips in 30 minutes, we can bring in 2,500 kids.
Wow. It's like 6 o'clock night, and that's the Muslim call to prayer. That's how close they are. But that means that how close they are to Jesus also, because Jesus is here. So pray for the Muslims as they call to them. We can pray for them.
The side of the property. It is very exciting because I didn't realize how far it goes way to the back of the trees, and I didn't realize how close the mosque is. I was just praying as I was walking that God, would you bring all of these to you, because they are yours and they need to know you too. And so we just ask that you will keep praying for us, that God will just use this property for His glory.
5,000-seat tent. So we've got the population in the neighborhood easily to fill it multiple times. Okay, this is the front of the tent. The back of the tent, that stake, if we've got our measurements correct,
Darrell, what can you say about the first service?
the power of God was here. And this is something that, wow, I believe God has got something planned. And the Holy Spirit last night when we were getting set up, you could feel the presence of God in this place. We are so excited. This is our first time, and today I'd estimate, I don't know, somewhere over 4,000 crowded in this tent, and it is really, really cool.
Well, it was hot and it was crowded, but it was so exciting. Kind of overwhelming, really, to see so many kids. But God has been good, and I think we cannot have one service after this. It'll have to be two, because we have just too many.
God is doing a marvelous thing. Now, what next? We didn't have room for anybody else. Where are we going next? Second service, third service? Oh, help us, Lord.
Maybe we can have a full service.
Yeah. All right. Pray with us. Thank you very, very much.
Who will teach the children